right, so welcome back, everybody, to the Gigabyte StarsWar Killer Tournament number 6 here on IC Cup TV. Once again, I am Prodigy, and with me is Orb, and we're going to be going into our next match. It's going to be I am NesTea versus WE 2012 LoveCD. And, well, for some of you guys who are wondering who LoveCD is, he is the brother of the Warcraft 3 legend Sky, and a little bit of a dark horse in this tournament, but one of the 6 Chinese qualifiers, and those Chinese players had to run the gauntlet just to get stuck in an absolutely brutal bracket, which you can find on TeamLiquid.net in the forum and a few other places online. So what do you think about this matchup? Yeah, so once again, just to introduce the players a little bit, the Zerg player you all know and love, Incredible Miracles' very own NesTea, GSL's Season 2 champion, and he took out Marine King Prime Wee to take that tournament down, and NesTea has just been a very, very strong Zerg player overall throughout all of GSL. Really?
I don't know. Apparently, they can only hear you. Everybody's saying that they're having this problem.
Wirecast is picking it up.
Huh. Oh, somebody just said, there we go. We didn't change anything at all. I don't know what would have changed that. Okay, then.
I have some theories, but they would take some investigating. So sorry for that. Once again, I had to set this stream up and get ready to do this in all of about 20 minutes because... I think
technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties, and I had to step in at the very last minute. So I'm kind of winging it this time, but definitely be sure that day 2 we're gonna have all this sorted out, and it'll be nice and consistent for everything. So again, NesTea, known for his absolutely perfect decision-making skills, we've seen time and time again in the GSL. He gets cheesed and he just blocks it. He looks like he's dead, and then he makes all of the right decisions, comes back and takes the game. And like it says there at the bottom, very strong macro-based player, very hard to cheese. I don't think I've ever seen him actually die to cheese throughout all of the GSL I've watched. And I've watched a lot of GSL. He's going to be going up against LoveCD, a Protoss player. Again, brother to one of the biggest StarCraft or Warcraft legends. And that was, of course, Sky. And again, made it through the brutal bracket of the Chinese qualifiers. And he plays for one of the Chinese teams, WE, which is, I guess, the same team as Marine King. So with that, I think we're going to get this game loaded up. And I actually can't see the full file name, so just give me a quick second to look it up in the folder to make sure I'm going to launch Game 1. And yes, I am. Game 1 is going to be on Xel'Naga Caverns. Alright, so I've got the replay loaded up, and I'm ready when you are.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so warping in at the bottom left, we have Team Weehot, who's actually going to be LoveCD as our blue Protoss, and in the top right we have I am NesTea as our red Zerg. So Xel'Naga Caverns. PVZ, really interesting. You want to talk about some of the features that really shaped this matchup on this map, Prodigy?
Well, for this particular matchup, of course, Zerg versus Protoss, there is just a million things that the Protoss can abuse here. You can throw down a few pylons behind the mineral line in the natural expansion, do things like cannon rushes, proxy gates because it's a 2-spawn map. The possibilities are really endless on this map when it comes to a Protoss player. The Zerg player has to either be really, really aggressive in the beginning or kind of be pretty defensive and go for a little bit more of a mid and late game macro-oriented strategy. And NesTea right now is going to be going for that extractor trick. So we'll have to see if he's going to throw down a pool or anything crazy early like that. No, he is going to throw down 3 drones. So it looks like we're going to see reasonably standard openings out of both these players so far.
Well, of course, interestingly enough, LoveCD actually did not wall off. So, I mean, it's minor. It's very minor. But in PvZ, that can be a really dangerous thing to do, as I know all too well from getting Baneling busted and Speedling busted so many times. You essentially just have to have, like, if you miss a single force field, you know, you just lose if they go for some type of really early aggression on you. So a little bit of an odd player there by LoveCD, not going for that wall-off build. And he's actually, I don't know if, is he going for Nexus first or something? He's at 250 minerals right now, at 16 food, hasn't built anything. I can only assume he's just going to be going Nexus first in this game, which is really odd considering he scouted that NesTea went gas pool. Oh, never mind. There we go. He is dropping a Forge first.
I think
so
he's going to Forge fast expand.
Really, I'm really shocked though. Really odd to not put the pylon at the natural. You know, set up that Forge, get yourself a nice little wall off. You know, defending that with cannons and not having speedlings run by can be really difficult if you don't have a good SimCity setup. So, LoveCD, I guess the Chinese style is maybe completely different. I'm blown away right now. I can't wait to see how he's going to make this work.
Yes, the Forge is going to complete. He's got a lot of minerals, so he might be looking to throw down. Oh, he actually is going to throw down a gateway here to set up a bit of a choke. And Zerglings or anything like that are going to have to run all the way around. He's also got the cannon down here under where the Nexus would go. Now he's going to start floating some minerals up. And I think he's just kind of banking on the fact that he knows that NesTea is a macro player and isn't going to try and knock this down as soon as he realizes what's going on. As we see, he didn't make like 50 more Zerglings or anything like that as soon as he saw this happen. Just continues on his already selected strategy. He's throwing down that hatchery, making a few Zerglings right now to hold off any potential aggression, and as well as getting speed. And all in all, just really standard NesTea play coming out of NesTea. This is just exactly what I would expect to see out of him if I was in the seat of the Protoss player right now. That's actually a 7 mega score going down, so he's completely walled this off, I think.
I'm actually a little bit shocked that NesTea is continuing to produce Zerglings. He's made, I think, in total 12 Zerglings. And, you know, when you see a Protoss player go Forge fast expansion, there's such a ridiculously long amount of time before they're going to be able to be aggressive with anything besides cannons or just zealots, that you can really abuse that and just make a ton of drones. So if he's going to make all these Zerglings, get that Zergling speed up, he's going to have to do something with them. Here he comes into the natural, trying to perhaps get some, try to do some kind of run by or something.
Definitely possible. There's not a lot. He did pull probes off the line to try and transfer them here, and only a few of the Zerglings actually make their way into the main base. The rest of the Zerglings are going to try and fight the probes there with some extra fire from that photon cannon, and NesTea is just going to try to be as annoying as possible right now and disrupt as much mining as he can of LoveCD with these 3 Zerglings, as well as continue to get scouting information.
As long as he's careful.
Warp gate.
Sorry, as long as he's careful with these Zerglings, he can keep them alive for an extremely long amount of time, or until this Stalker is out, essentially. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's just being extremely annoying. Unfortunately, if he had executed that a little bit better, just the timing was so very close, but LoveCD blocked him with those probes. I felt like I was watching a PvZ back from Brood War with that Speedling run by at the Forge fast expansion. But he did a really good job blocking it off and is defending this extremely well, not really losing all that much mining time at all. So I think that might have been a little bit of a blunder by NesTea, getting himself just ever so slightly behind, losing those Zerglings there.
Yeah, so continuing to pick off probes, he's killed off a few probes in that last engagement.
NesTea immediately taking his third. That's
killed off 2. And he's not even going to bother breaking down the rock, so he knows that his opponent is in a pretty defensive position at this point in the game. Just wants to get his economy up and running as well as some upgrades. But he's going to have to deal with what might be a 6-gate timing attack, because there's 4 more warp gates going down right now. And they're about in the position to finish at the same time as that warp gate. So, yeah, I think we might see a 6-gate timing attack coming out of LoveCD here.
What's interesting is, well, we actually see a 7th gate drop down. What's interesting is that he's been on 1 gas this entire time. So LoveCD not going to be able to produce a lot of sentries for this timing attack. Now, all of a sudden, he's bringing himself up to quad gas. So I really love this timing. He stayed on 1 gas, was able to get up all these gateways thanks to the extra minerals that he had from that. Now he's going to drop down quad gas, really explode his gas income and just start pumping out those sentries. And this attack could be extremely strong. I mean, NesTea's going to have to really pull off something amazing to hold this off, since he did take that 3rd so very early and his Roach Warren is just finishing now.
Yeah, so a probe is coming off the line. A few more zealots are warping in, and it does look like LoveCD is gearing up to put on some of the pressure. And, well, he does play with the Wii team, and this is kind of the standard response from a Zerg player who sees a Forge fast expand like that, or a really quick fast expansion from the Protoss player with a ton of cannons, is to just quickly take a third base. And, of course, LoveCD is going to know this. Yeah, that's
excellent play by NesTea there, is targeting that Stalker, taking it out. But what's the problem here is that LoveCD actually, he got +1 from that Forge right as he attacks. This is a +1 timing push. These Roaches are out, so he needs a couple more Stalkers to deal with these, but these Zealots are going to decimate these 0-0 Zerglings. They're going to kill them in only 2 hits each. So NesTea's got to be extremely careful with his micro here. Any misstep and he could lose this. Oh, really bad move going in there with those Zerglings. Loses them all to those Zealots almost immediately. Perhaps missed the +1 there. And now in a really bad position, bringing his Queens and a whole lot more Roaches to help reinforce.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good micro going on here, trying to take out as many of those Zealots before they can actually close in on the Roaches. But a lot of the Roaches are going to be taken out by those Zealots, but it looks like NesTea is going to be able to start driving this attack away. Zerglings are chasing away some of the Stalkers, but more Stalkers are warping in from LoveCD. He's going to close the distance with these Roaches and make it a little bit harder for LoveCD to actually micro, and he's going to be able to take out a few more of them. Roaches moving up to the high ground to start attacking that pylon. In an excellent position. He does now have vision of that pylon to take it down from the low ground, but 2 Stalkers are going to start taking down that Roach. The rest of the Stalkers here on the low ground have been eliminated, and Blink is just about to complete, and that means LoveCD is really going to be able to turn this harassment up to 11. He's going to be able to blink these Stalkers now for quite some time, but no, the pylon goes down, and that means that there's only going to be these last 3 Stalkers here to apply the pressure. Nice Queen snipe there, but these Stalkers' fate is sealed. They're going to be taken out very quickly. No, he is actually able to blink out of there and make me look like a fool.
There were some big missteps by LoveCD in there, actually. The fact that he kept warping in those Stalkers on the low ground, if he'd warped in the high ground behind, he might have had a lot better positioning, not got caught off guard by those Roaches. And also, if he had made some sentries there, instead of pure Stalker, if he'd made some sentries with that quad gas that he has, he could have easily just double force fielded off that ramp to NesTea's natural and taken out that hatchery. It was at about 1/3 HP. He could have taken it out really easily with just 2 sentries, and that would have been really great for him. But instead now, he did that entire attack, lost his entire army except for 2 Stalkers, threw away quite a lot of units, and didn't even take out the expansions. So NesTea in a really, really commanding position right now. He's not that far up on Harvesters. But, I mean, he's continuing his drone productions, so he's getting himself slowly and slowly farther and farther ahead in this game. But that being said, LoveCD could pull off some really amazing stuff with Blink. It can be such a versatile ability that we might need to see something more than just Zergling and Roach from NesTea.
He's got this Spire out on the field right now, and I have to wonder what his plan is for this. Is he actually going to try and make some Mutalisks to keep these Stalkers in the base of LoveCD and just make them blink around to deal with those Mutalisks and not really let him move around the map with them like he would want to? And it's definitely a viable strategy, but he's not actually putting that Spire to work at all. And in the meantime, he's just macroing up. He is getting flyer attacks level 1, so is he going to go for a Mutalisk or is he going to go for a really quick hive is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, and a little minor misstep here by LoveCD, or perhaps not a misstep, but he's actually getting armor level 1 on his Fords instead of going for that second attack upgrade, and he does have the Twilight Council. And when you're dealing with Stalkers, you're trying to avoid taking damage, so and you're trying to just blink around, abuse your mobility, and attack in places where the Zerg isn't. So I feel like going for armor would have been a lot better, just get that attack upgrade here. But he is going to move out with these just playing around here, exploring while NesTea just goes around the map, searches for any kind of aggression. They are moving in right now and attacking. Zerglings are trying to get a nice surround on these Stalkers. They're trying to blink out, and he's blinking in groups, doing a pretty good job. But now the Zerglings are just overrunning them. It's not even close at this point. Zerglings just decimating these Stalkers. They do have +1 attack.
Yeah, insane APM right now coming out of NesTea there. With over 300 StarCraft 2 APM. It looks like he's going to be able to take out the remainder of these Stalkers, blinking back one more time, but these forces just do not stop coming. And Stalker's getting back up into a corner. He's going to warp in a few more there on the high ground so his Stalkers can blink up there as well. But he actually gets them stuck behind that pylon there, so he's going to have to wait for that blink to cool down. Only a few of the Stalkers in the right position. They did just blink over there, and they will not be able to blink out of it. So the Zerglings able to take out a few more of those, applying a ton of pressure to this natural expansion. And now the Mutalisks have popped. Now let's find out where they are, because I don't have a mini map, and they are here out on the middle of the map. Not actually going to be putting those to use quite yet. I'm just going to use these ground forces to apply as much pressure as you can to this natural expansion while he keeps his macro up and running.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job of applying pressure. That fight would have actually been a lot closer when he was fighting those Stalkers, except that NesTea had some really fantastic macro reinforcements coming in the middle of that fight. And once those Stalkers get down to, like the 12 HP that most of them are at, after you take out their shields and they blink away, you really need those reinforcements. But meanwhile, tons of Mutalisks walking into the main of LoveCD right now. He's forced to pull all those probes. Stalkers are on their way, but Mutalisks doing a lot of damage, taking out a lot of missed mining time right here right now. And LoveCD just dropping down his third now as NesTea is dropping his fourth. So falling further and further behind this game, even though he did manage to, in the end, defend that attack that NesTea brought forward.
Yeah, so if we look at the army tab right now, we can see NesTea is very far ahead. NesTea with almost a 60 supply lead over LoveCD is going to try to get in here with his Mutalisks once again, but he will find the Blink Stalkers. And is actually going to try and engage them right now. He's going to do a pretty good job in this engagement. Looks like he might actually come up on top. And LoveCD is now going to start blinking away, thinking that he was in an advantageous position there. And NesTea is going to use the mobility of his Stalkers, or the mobility of his Mutalisks to continue chasing down these Stalkers, keeping that Stalker count quite low. In the meantime, there's another attack going down here in the natural expansion. The Zerglings taking out probes left and right. The probes are going to stop mining and try to fight those Zerglings instead. And the Stalkers are now in the natural expansion to help defend, and that is going to allow the Mutalisks to wreak havoc on the main base.
Indeed, the Mutalisks just didn't come in. This is pretty much an impossible situation for LoveCD to do anything about. NesTea now taking out the natural nexus. LoveCD forced to call the GG. I've been in that situation as Protoss countless times, and it's so unbelievably painful. But if you try to fight Mutalisks with just Blink Stalker, you run into this issue where you're essentially only able to produce Stalkers. If you produce any other unit, you're going to fall back into that position where, like, NesTea almost got to that point where you could just flat out beat the Stalkers with his mutas and not even have to, just to harass, and then you just lose. So you essentially have to continue producing Stalkers forever, and they produce a ton of Speedlings, and your Stalkers are not going to do that well versus it. And that's why a lot of Protoss players you'll see, try to go for that double Stargate Phoenix to help deal with those mutas. But unfortunately, LoveCD's scouting was just a little bit under in this game. He never saw that Spire. He did not do nearly enough scouting with his observers. He did get that, somewhat early robotics facility, and I would have really loved to see him actually send the observers around NesTea's base, see what was going on, because I feel like he just got caught off guard. And when that many mutas, it was like I think 20 or so mutas just roll into your base. It's a little bit too late to make that type of a tech switch.
So with that, NesTea is going to take game one, and that means we're going to be going into game two of NesTea versus LoveCD momentarily here on IC Cup TV. Once again, I am Prodigy, and with me is Orb, and we're covering the StarsWar Gigabyte StarsWar Killer Tournament number 6, and pretty huge prize pool that we haven't actually talked about too much. First place is going to walk away with $6,124 for first place. Second place is going to get about $1,500. Third place with the remaining, I think, about $600 or so. An $8,100 prize pool. Of course, those odd numbers there are because of the conversion from the Chinese currency. And with that in mind, a lot of money on the line right now. And we're going to get this second game launched in just a second here on IC Cup TV. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.